So how do we avoid this? How do we move from emotional exhaustion to empathic intelligence? Because it's a real thing. You have to use regulated, skillful empathy. Now, remember, we've talked over and over again how empathy is a skill, right? It's skill-based. It can be learned. It can be taught, at least to some degree. If you think of this as a skill, as something that you employ actively, suddenly a lot of the emotional friction is gone. Right? So we're actually taking cognitive empathy and adding it in with effective empathy. Emotional intelligence, you use your empathy to connect to that. And you understand that you want to pause, you want to reflect, you want to respond, but you don't want to absorb all of this, right? Name, normalize, and process your emotions before helping others. Help yourself first, self-empathy. Boundaries and recovery. We already talked about that, but I actually can't say it enough. I see this happen over and over again in leaders. They'll expend all their empathy at work, and then they'll go home and do it for their families. And they wonder why, without a break, they're done. Their empathy fatigue has just left them tapped out. Burnout is something we talk about a lot, right? But this empathy fatigue is part of burnout. It's part of just not being able to engage. And if empathy is about connection and understanding, then that inability to engage on a human-to-human level anymore is a big problem. And our organizations need to take some responsibility for some of this as well, right? We talk about management where you run people like a machine, right? It's something to be fixed. It's something to be regulated. It's something to be controlled and commanded. People aren't machines, nor should they be. Why would we want them to be? It's the beautiful humanity that allows for innovation, that allows for creativity. It's the things that AI can't do. It's the things that machines can't do. But we have to be careful to not take on all of that overload. If there's one thing that I could leave this conversation with, it's that recognition that empathy is a skill and that you are not a sponge. That part of this skill is being able to use self-empathy to make sure that you don't take on so much emotional baggage from everything else and from the job and from the leadership position that you burn yourself out. Part of this is emotional literacy, and part of this is continuing to build your EQ skills, right? And we talk about how you use empathy, the connection and understanding, to connect to these EQ skills and understand what you need. Maybe you don't need to motivate yourself harder. Maybe you need to take a moment and understand yourself and what's going on.